Throughout my life, Pokemon has been a pretty consistent interest. Ever since my brother introduced it to me, I've been following the games and manga to this day. However, somewhere in the middle of Sun and Moon, my passion for the anime faded. The slow pace of the show turned it into a collection of fun clips and background noise. When it was followed up by Journeys, I realized I might be getting too old for this. That all changed when I discovered the new anime announcement was the greatest day of my life. It meant a lot to me that after 25 years, the anime would finally retire Ash and hopefully be free to explore new horizons. The trailer was met with lots of fanfare and speculation. I personally worried about the writing woes of Journeys, but I'm glad to say that they have not prevailed. So what did I expect? To be completely honest, the sweet spot of Pokemon to me was the early Best Wishes arc and the majority of XY. A fast pace with great animation, where we meet a new Pokemon each week and solve a minor problem. It's a very simple slice-of-life formula that lends itself to long-running series. However, that's not what Horizons is at all. So let's talk about my thoughts on the new Pokemon anime, and for any fans who dropped the show, here's why I think you should consider it. Pokemon Horizons employs an arc structure that puts its characters front and center. Initially, I was expecting a speedy start, with Liko and Paldea catching Pokemon left and right. However, the slower start has really grown on me. Instead of a rush through the routes and new monsters, each character is given time to form bonds with their Pokemon, and the group dynamic is firmly established. It's one of the first series in a while where the Pokemon feel like real main characters. Pikachu, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco all have recognizable traits that make them fully realized members of the cast. The first 3 episodes introduce us to Liko, our new protagonist. She's a shy and introspective girl with a fun amount of genre savviness. Liko's a stark departure from Ash, with a much more introverted personality. She enjoys being alone, and struggles a lot to connect with people. It's fitting that she's paired with a fickle Sprigatito, who spends most of its time sleeping or ignoring her. The two struggle to muster their first move, but watching them work towards a friendship really strengthens their relationship. When the anime began, I was worried she'd stay in Kanto just like Journeys, but the plot quickly gets moving as we meet the explorers and the rising vault tacklers. The villains this season are after Liko's pendant, which seems like a much easier goal to prolong. We get to see a cool battle and watch Liko's desperate attempts to save her new partner. All in all, she's a unique main character who works even better with Roy. Was a character I had really low hopes for. Based on his design similarity to Go, I wasn't expecting much. However, I can now say he's got a lot more to him. Roy is an energetic boy who the cast finds on a small island near Kanto. He's a lot more active than Liko and is eager to leave the island to explore the world. He befriends Fuecoco after it falls off the ship, and the two bond over its song. When the explorers attack the team's ship on the island shore, Roy decides to fight them for Fuecoco's sake. It's this shared will that convinces Roy's grandfather that Roy is now ready to leave. Previously, he only considered his own wishes, but now he considers Fuecoco's feelings as well. So what about those legendary Pokemon? Liko's pendant seems to house Terapagos, and Roy's Pokeball a shiny Rayquaza. In the episode 6 fight, the two seem to react, releasing Rayquaza who flies off to the Paldea region. The inclusion of these items give each character a goal to focus on, with the mystery of Terapagos and the whereabouts of Rayquaza. Given its prominence on the poster, I imagine they'll be chasing it a while, and Terapagos might get more focus once we see it in the DLC. Together, our dual protagonists form a good pair, as Liko's reserved and quiet, while Roy is more proactive and loud. It makes a lot of sense given their backgrounds too. Roy has been bored on an island and is eager for new situations. However, Liko is just a shy girl being thrust into new situations each day. Even on a design level, I really like the contrast between red and blue, long hair and short hair. Roy's got a casual, athletic outfit which is pretty suited to his outdoor lifestyle. Liko is more dressed up though, with an outfit that's more pretty than practical. Finally, the two inherit a characteristic from Ash. Roy gets the hat and Liko gets Ash's symbol on a hair clip. It's a real stretch, but it feels like a fun allusion to their predecessor. When the series was announced, one of my biggest concerns was all of the adult characters. I didn't get why these kids would be hanging out with so many grown-ups, especially since it's a kids show. However, I'm happy to say the rising vault tacklers aren't really intrusive to the plot. Instead, they act as bodyguards hired by Liko's mom. First up, we've got Freed, who is a mentor figure, and gives the cast a power ceiling. He's currently the strongest battler we've met and is a guardian figure for the kids. I like his aloof personality and think he's a pretty charismatic leader. I look forward to Roy and Liko growing in power to eventually reach his heights. The other crewmates also get their moments to shine. Murdoch's love for sweets is amusing, and I like Molly a lot. Ludlow is a cryptic old guy who provides some comedy every now and then. The final member of the crew is... Dot is the most recent addition to the cast, and she's a pretty mysterious character, mostly seen in her costume as Nidothing. I find the child genius trope entertaining, and I love the contrast between her regular persona and the charismatic Nidothing. She's got incredible knowledge on Pokemon, but struggles with knowledge about humans. She can also come off as standoffish, but genuinely appreciates the crew. Something odd about her is the ability to predict the future. 2 times now, Dot has been able to predict future events. First she predicted that Roy would lose, then she predicted where Rayquaza would appear. The former is especially weird since there's no way she could have known this. At least with Rayquaza there's a chance she could have seen it online. I look forward to seeing more of her, especially since she provides a lot of exposition for new viewers. Overall, it's a fun and colorful cast that gives them endless material to work with. I've stated before that this season is character focused, and I feel that's reflected in the eye catches. Rather than who's that Pokemon, we get really clean shots of our main characters. Speaking of, let's talk about the antagonists. The Explorers are an anime-exclusive evil team that seem to be after Liko's pendant. So far, we've been introduced to 2 admins. Amethio, who is the first, is a cold and edgy boy with a Ceruledge. He tries to trick Liko into giving him the pendant, but in a genre-savvy move, she simply ignores him, prompting him to use force. He's rather cold and calculating, and might even be a future rival to her. Currently though, he's only battled Freed, but I can see Liko getting strong enough to face him. Amethio's agents are Zur and Konia, which spells out the naming convention. They're all minerals: Amethyst, Zirconia, Spinel, and Hamburgite. I love that all the members of the Explorers have angular designs and use a Steel-type Pokemon. I imagine the reason for an anime-exclusive team is to keep them around should generations change, or just to free the writers from the game's story constraints. It opens up new possibilities, and I hope they take full advantage of that. Currently, Spinel has been assigned to the Vault Tacklers, so I'm looking forward to see his approach. We've never really had multiple villains appear regularly, so this is a pretty exciting concept. The first 8 episodes are all part of the arc Liko and Roy's departure, which is a great time to elaborate that this series will have an arc structure. So far we've been exploring our 2 main characters, and based on the new episode titles, we can assume the next arc will be in Paldea, perhaps introducing some more game elements. Based on the episode previews, I'm assuming we get to see Liko's parents, and hopefully she catches a Lechonk. It would be a fun team member with a different vibe to both Liko and Sprigatito. Given the current pace, I think we can expect the gym leaders to be spread out, especially since we're meeting the first one 10 episodes in. It's a choice that allows Pokemon and characters to shine, and I can only hope nothing goes wrong. Before we wrap up, there's a few things I'd like to cover that don't really fall under any one category. The opening is really good. It's a calm song with inviting energy that takes us through the ship and our cast with some pretty strong introductions. It's also got its quiet moments where we get to see Liko introspecting. I think the ending with Liko staring at the endless sky before the gang bring her out of her head is really sweet too, a perfect metaphor for Liko's anxiety that's eased by having her friends around her. The theme so far seems to be about adventure and trying new things, so I'm glad they could represent that. I also think this season is more relatable to kids. They clearly made it with recent events in mind. The kids are on their phones, they take boring online classes, and we even have a shut-in character who streams and lives online. The animation's pretty good too. At first I hated the style because it was too similar to Journey's, but I think it's pretty competent episode to episode. I can't be the only one who gets a One Piece vibe from this season, with the ship, the crew, and the adventure. It just feels similar enough to be worth noting as a potential inspiration. Alright, last thoughts are about the dub. I noticed sometimes the dub never lets characters sound too intense, so I'm worried for Dot and Amethio specifically, who are pretty intense / edgy characters. I think their casting could make or break them, but I don't think it's the VA's fault in any of these situations. It's probably an issue with direction and probably things that are above them, so I wouldn't blame any individual actor. It's just that the dub has struggled in the past with characters that have really intense personalities. But with that said, I think this is a really good reintroduction to the Pokemon world, and I would say if you haven't watched Pokemon in a while, give it a shot just to appreciate how far they've come. I think that if they continue with the arc structure, we could see really good Pokemon stories. It's been a while since we've had significant progress happen in Pokemon, at least with this attention to detail. The character focus also allows the story to stay grounded because we're not just going places and seeing Pokemon, we're actually trying to help these people grow. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I've never really covered Pokemon content before, but as I said, it's always been a constant interest, so if you'd like to hear more, let me know. I'll see you guys next time.